Quick turnaround after the first ODI. Australia have taken a 1-0 lead. The series is on the line for India at the SCG. Let's go to our 5-point preview on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day. I'm Raunak Kapoor. Joining me shortly, Deep Dasgupta and Tom Moody. So Australia played the near-perfect innings, at least with bat, and Marcus Stoinis didn't impact with bat, but did with ball. He may be injured for this one. Tom, our first point is, if he is unfit, is it Cameron Green, Moses Hendricks, or Ashton Agar? Who replaces him?
Yeah, personally, I'd go with Ashton Agar. Basically, on what I saw in Sydney and the way the conditions were, I think Australia would benefit with another specialist spinner. Ashton Agar also is more than capable to bat 7. Therefore, you just push Maxwell into that 6th position. So I don't think it throws the balance of the side at all. And it'll give Aaron Finch a specialist left-arm spinner, which is a good option for him to have, particularly on that surface, which looks to be a very good batting surface.
It would mean replacing a seam bowling all-rounder with a spinner, and Ashton Agar can bat, as Tom said. Spinners were someone that Aaron Finch didn't want to go to when Hardik Pandya was going on Songdeep. Would you go with Tom, bring in the spinner instead of seamers?
I'm looking at it from an Indian perspective. Would I want to face Ashton Agar or somebody who can bowl at 140? And as Tom mentioned a couple of days ago, about Cameron Green, who can bowl quick. You have Sean Abbott, who's batting brilliantly in domestic cricket as well. So from an Indian perspective, you rather play a spinner than a fast bowler, right? And if you look at the way the top order got out, it was because of some extra bounce and pace. So from an Indian perspective, I don't mind Ashton Agar. I would prefer Ashton Agar over, some of the quicks that they have.
All right, fair enough. Next point. Now, we know the problem, but is there a solution? India need a 6 bowling option, Deep.
There's no obvious solution there, Raunak. You know it. We've been covering domestic cricket as well. There is no obvious choice there as a 6th bowling because you don't have a top 6 batsman who can bowl, especially with Hardik not bowling now. But then what I think, then you have to start thinking outside the box. And for me, I think the outside the box solution to a certain extent or an answer could be Jadeja batting at 4. The way that he's batted in the last couple of years, I think you just have to show some faith in him. And then if Jadeja bats at 4, you can have someone like Washington Sundar coming in at number 7. So you have to find a way out, and this could be one of those things.
We did bring that point up when we covered that game. Tom Gautam Gambhir said, why not try Washington Sundar? Are you tempted by the idea?
Personally, not. I just think that you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And therefore, you may think you've solved your problem, but you're creating another problem. I think every good ODI side has 6 specialist batsmen. And what you ideally need to have is someone bowling in that 6. At the moment, India don't have that. They have someone that's capable of bowling, but is injured. So I would remain patient because I think the investment in Suresh Iyer and others in that top 6 is more important than worrying about the short-term fix. So I'd be just persevering with the 5 specialist bowlers, but maybe considering, have you got the right specialists in that 5?
All right, let's go to our next point. Again, we did bring this up when Finch and Warner were going well in our mid-inning show of the first ODI. And Tom, you brought that up as well. Should India consider bowling a spinner early to Aaron Finch especially?
Yeah, look, I don't think it's just to Aaron Finch. I think that, tactically, I think India missed a trick in those first 10 overs. If you haven't taken a wicket, and historically, the records show, particularly Bumrah hasn't had the effect that he has had previously in those first 10 overs. Look, you need to change something. You need to change the pace of the game. And India have got 2 good options that enjoy bowling with the new ball in Chahal and Jadeja. I would have definitely bowled them 1 or 2 overs in the first 10 just to change the pace of the game. So it's definitely something they should consider game 2 and game 3.
Deep?
Yeah, that's a fair point. As far as Bumrah and Shami are concerned, I thought they were a tad bit on the shorter side. But that was just the first game in Australia. I'd give them another game or 2 to settle down. So I won't be too worried about Bumrah, especially, and Shami. But that's not a bad ploy at all, especially someone like Jadeja. I mean, at that pace, and he doesn't really turn the ball a lot. You need somebody who can pitch it up, finish in the stumps, and he has that natural angle to a right-hander, which actually finishes in the stump and gets the ball to get back into the right-hander. So maybe Jadeja is a very good option that from that perspective.
All right. Now, as far as other bowling changes or personnel changes go, Deep, would you make one after the first game? Should India consider Shardul Thakur for Navdeep Saini?
I mean, it'll be too harsh to change it after the first game itself. But that's a very valid point actually. Shardul Thakur, especially with a new ball, because you have three bowlers who are apart from Shami. Look at Bumrah. He's best with the oldish ball. His best bowling is with the oldish ball. You rather have more of his overs in the back end or the middle of the middle of the innings. So you have someone like Shardul Thakur who has the ability to swing the ball. Please, Shardul brings in a different dimension to that bowling attack. So you don't have an out-and-out new ball bowler who has the ability to swing. So Shardul Thakur could be an answer to that. And also the fact that Shardul can bat. He can contribute with the bat coming at number 8. That's not a bad call.
Tom?
Personally, I would stick with Sani just on the basis that he is the long-term investment for this tour. They need him performing and finding good rhythm in Australia. And I think these ODIs are a good entree for the Test series for India and for him, for that matter. Give him another chance to be able to bounce back, learn from, his mistakes, find some good rhythm, because it is a long tour and they need him firing.
All right, fair enough. And finally, we're saying Australia should stick to playing their best 11, especially with the fast bowlers, Tom. Would you look to play Stark, Hazelwood and Cummins for this one and win the ODI series? Or does workload management come into the picture even after one game?
I would 100% be picking my best team. And those three fast bowlers will be bowling as far as I'm concerned. Yes, if you win this second game, you may consider that as an option. But it's more important to win the series, and it's more important for them to take the responsibility to try to win the series. So it'd be the last thing on my mind. And if it was suggested to me by the support staff and the medical team, I'd say, come and speak to me in a couple of days.
I don't think he'll be that polite, but yeah, Deep.
No, fair enough. I mean, to be very honest, Hazelwood hasn't played a lot of cricket in the last 2-3 months. Stark hasn't, and he looked rusty in the first game. So obviously he needs some game time. The only person who's been playing regularly is Cummins. And I'm sure after the first game, it's too early. Maybe, like Tom said, maybe in a couple of games. Because yes, you will have to start looking at the workload. But I think it's too early in the series and in the season as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Deep Dasgupta and Tom Moody. This was our preview to the second ODI between India and Australia on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday.